Hello there everyone, welcome back, and today, it doesn't work quite as well with flywheel blasters. We're doing a comparison between the Nerf Stryfe and the Nerf Elite 2.0 Phoenix. Now, overall, these two blasters here are pretty comparable. They're both semi-automatic flywheel blasters, though it is notable that the Phoenix has been marketed as sort of the successor to the Stryfe. And the Stryfe, of course, being being the more well-known one, and of course the more popular one, but also it is the older one. There have been a few different repaints of it over the years. There's the original one, the blue one. Then there's the orange one. Then the newest of the bunch, the modulus one. The Phoenix is actually a new blaster. It is the same type of blaster, but it's a new model, though overall it is pretty comparable to the Stryfe. So today we're going to see whether the Phoenix is worthy of being called the successor to the Stryfe. Now, Stryfe overall, to give a brief overview of the appearance and everything of it, Stryfe is regarded as a pretty well balanced blaster because of the fact that the batteries and everything sit above the trigger area, which means that it's pretty well balanced, which means that I could do that. The Phoenix, on the other hand, has the battery area here, which is in the front of the blaster, although that does mean that it's closer to where the flywheels are, which makes it more efficient and thus cheaper for Nerf to actually produce. That does mean that it is extremely front heavy, which makes for it being quite difficult to do that. But though, if I were to take a stock here, such as this worker one, and attach it to the back, this sort of reduces the balance problem and makes for sort of a pretty effective battle rifle type thing. Though of course, if I could take this off, same thing would apply to the Stryfe if I were to put the stock on, and even in rifle form this is still a better balanced blaster than the Phoenix. So overall, in terms of that, the balance of the Stryfe is superior to the Phoenix, so I would not recommend using the Phoenix just in the base format without a stock, because it requires a lot more effort to use since it's not as well balanced and requires more grip strength. Though, as for the other features of this blaster, one of the things I did quite like about the Stryfe was the magazine release here. So with this, what was cool about it is that you could take your middle finger and then just press it there to take the magazine out like that. By the way, I have them loaded up with Adventure Force waffle head darts because they're overall better than Elite darts in every single way. Though but I digress. You could also take your hand like this and just take out the magazine like that. Makes for multiple ways to do it, which is pretty tactical. Phoenix, on the other hand, has the magazine release contained within the trigger guard, which, as well as being more cramped and everything, makes for the fact that you have to sort of take your finger and use that to take it out, which you could use a knuckle your finger like that, but that's a bit painful, especially for me since I have small hands, so I'm actually more using my fingernail. So I just use the tip of my finger to take it out. It's manageable, but still a bit difficult, and definitely not. Overall, I definitely prefer the Stryfe's magazine release. Though, credit where it's due, I do prefer the rev switch of the Phoenix. It's get that to focus. It's a bit more flat, and it's overall more suitable to actual person than the Stryfe's one, which was a bit small, and especially if you have large hands or gloves on, can be a bit difficult to use. But overall, that is one thing I prefer about the Phoenix. The grip overall is a bit less comfortable. It's a bit more angular, and it's not terrible, but yeah, it could be better. As for the rest of the features of this blaster, it includes a sectional magazine. both of them actually do. I have them both loaded up with six round magazines, though this is not the magazine that this came with. This is from Long Strike, but I thought it looked pretty cool, so I put it in. Then, as for the rest of the, let's see, they both have an in-strike barrel lug, so you can attach your barrel, whatever type you would like, though it is notable that I do like the boxier sort of styling of the Phoenix, so I'm not sure why they went for the teal sort of light blue coloring. I would have preferred a darker shade, perhaps a shade of blue such as the one that they used to put on the Elite blasters, or even if they want to do something different, an even darker shade. But this teal shade doesn't really match terribly well with anything else, so overall, I would say that the actual coloring of this is quite odd in terms of its compatibility with the rest of the Nerf blasters out there and the rest of the tactical attachments out there, but I digress. That does help to, that does reduce the main advantage that the Phoenix has, which is that it has 5 tack rails, 5, which is quite unusual for a blaster of this type, because the Stryfe only has 2, but the Phoenix, well, it has one here and one here. The Phoenix has one here, 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 and here. So, yeah, it is pretty cool, but because of the factors I said earlier, that's sort of reduced, because you'll be hard-pressed to find 5 different attachments that'll fit this, especially ones from previous Nerf blasters, but I digress. As for the performance of the blasters, it's pretty comparable, though, let's see, they both have jam doors, of course, so you can clear out a jam, and there is one gripe I have about this one, is that the jam door here is quite a bit flimsier. If you can tell, it's sort of shakes around, overall it's pretty flimsy. What the heck? Right. Well, that's a thing. Guess it's not needed. Anyways, yeah. So as for the performance of the blasters, overall it's pretty comparable. Though I'll just do a firing test just to demonstrate. Now for the Stryfe. There we go. So overall, performance is pretty comparable. This one might be slightly better because the batteries in here are a bit newer, but overall, performance is pretty much comparable. So overall, that means that in the end, I prefer the Stryfe. Overall, as a barrel blaster, it has better balance to it. The overall characteristics of the blaster itself are better. As for the Phoenix, it has some features that I like, but overall, it just doesn't do it for me. I still prefer the Stryfe, so guess that's it for the video. The Stryfe is still the king of flywheel blasters, unless of course you count the Spectrum, but Dart Zone, they're pretty much dominating the market these days, so as for Nerf flywheelers, the Stryfe is still the best. Sorry, Phoenix. That's pretty much it for the video today. Hope you have a good day, everybody.